Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Ohio.
You couldn't ask for a more beautiful weather day or evening than we have tonight in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Big crowd rolling in, playoff-like atmosphere. The Brewers sniffing the postseason. The opener of a three-game series taking on the Cincinnati Reds. And hi again, everybody. Look who's here with us tonight. The Cowboy, Jeff Brantley and Jeff Pecoro. I'm Tom Brenneman. Great to have you with us. The Cubs and the Brewers are finished with one another. They wrapped that up last week. Milwaukee winning that final series 2 out of 3. But, Cowboy, you look inside the remaining schedule for those two teams, and the third team very much in the hunt for the playoffs, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, I think if you look at it from a schedule standpoint, the Brewers probably have the easiest way. They only play one team that's above 500. That would be the team on the right side of your screen in the St. Louis Cardinals. Those last 3 ball games, though, Tom, with the Cardinals and the Cubs, that could be where it's all decided.
Well, one guy who is leading the way, and he's getting a lot of talk about being the league's most valuable player, is Christian Yelich.
I'm amazed that Yelich is a 30 home run guy. Now, I know that he came over with a lot of prowess as far as swinging the bats, but I figured in my mind he was kind of a leadoff guy, or maybe a 2-hole guy to get the offense started. But, I mean, you look at the numbers that he's put up for the year, much less against the Cincinnati Reds. Oh, my goodness.
6 home runs and a better than a .450 average against Reds pitching. The man who will try and quiet him down a little bit here tonight has been slumping of late, and that's Anthony DeSclafani. What's going on with him?
I think it's the second time through the lineup, Tom. There were times earlier in the season where you would think Anthony DeSclafani is going to be the ace of this ball club, but he has got to get through the second time in the lineup to make this happen.
And his mount opponent tonight, this guy's just a solid pitcher, and he's been really good against the Reds as left-hander Wade Miley.
He works quick. He works fast. The Reds' offense has got to step out of the box, figure out some way to take him out of his rhythm.
All right, when we come back, we're going to check in down along the dugout with Jeff Pecoro. How about the Reds starting pitching over the weekend in Chicago? Man, was it good. Cowboy with us tonight on Fox Sports Ohio.
Is brought to you by Chevy. Check out our award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealers. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Well, it's time now for our game storyline presented by Elk & Elk. The Reds had their chances in Chicago, but the offense just wasn't there. 0 for 18 with runners in scoring position. They lost 2 of 3. They scored all of 4 runs, and those were all on solo homers. They hit under 200 with 29 strikeouts in the series. The Brewers not much better. They lost 2 of 3 to the Pirates. They scored 10 runs. 7 of those came on home runs. 26 strikeouts and just 7 walks. Well, the one bright spot in Chicago was the Reds starting pitching. Yeah, they lost those games 3-2, 1-0, and 1-2-1. So the starters were very, very good. We talked to Jim Riggleman, and he said, look, if I can continue to get starts like this the rest of the year, this team's going to win a lot of games. You see what the starters did. Matt Harvey was spectacular in his start. Cody Reed was very good for 5 innings. And Luis Castillo went 6 2/3 in that. And again, all of them combined just 1 earned run. Riggleman said that he is very impressed by his starters now.
That's the best 3-4 days of pitching we've had. We threw a couple good games against the Dodgers, and to have our starters go out there and pitch well, very encouraging. A little more comfortable giving some rope to Castillo. He's been so good for us, and he really is taking some steps in the right direction.
Well, the Reds hope that tonight's starter, Anthony DeSclafani, can get back to his earlier success in his last 5 starts. 4 of those 5 starts, he's given up 4 or more earned runs. So it's the Reds and the Brewers, game 1 of a 3-game set, and it's the last taste of playoff-type baseball the Reds are going to see for the rest of the season.
In the upper 80s here today in Milwaukee, and those temperatures expected to decline and decline rapidly over the next couple of days. It is just a beautiful night tonight. So the roof at Miller Park wide open. And the Brewers have taken the field in preparation of the opening game of this 3-game series, a final 3 between these 2 teams this season. Let's take a look at Jim Riggleman's starting lineup here tonight. It'll be Schebler. He led off the game the very first pitch with a home run against Quintana yesterday at Wrigley Field. Peraza, then Votto behind him. Suarez, Jeanette, Irvin also with a home run yesterday. A ladder third of Casali, DeSclafani in the 8-hole. Billy Hamilton playing center, batting 9th. The left-hander Wade Miley has been around a long time since originally breaking in with the Arizona Diamondbacks and has had a good career.
He has had a good career, and you look at the numbers that he's been able to put up. Now, granted, this is only in about a half a season of starting, but you got a 2.23 ERA and you're pitching the way he does. You might think about starting him against the Cubs in the playoffs if you so happen to make it that way. This guy's pitched awfully well.
Well, they signed him very late. He was one of those guys, and there are a lot of them still out on the street that never got a job, but they signed him very, very late into spring training, and they sent him out to the minor leagues. They bring him up to the big league club in early May, and he made 2 starts before getting hurt. So they sent him back to the minor leagues, sent him again to the minor leagues, and he's come back up and been on quite a roll. We'll see how it goes here tonight. Schebler set to step in there and get this one underway. Breaking ball is outside and low, ball 1. And this was the first pitch in that game yesterday. Wasn't wasting any time against Jose Quintana. John Tumpain calls the balls and strikes. Jeremy Rehack is at first. Mark Wegner, the crew chief, the umpire at second. Andy Fletcher down at third. Pardon me, Cowboy. 2-0 delivery, swung on and missed.
I was just going to say, if you're a batter for the Reds here tonight and you take a chance of looking down maybe how you're getting into the box, the ball may be coming to the plate with Miley on the mound. He works quick, and he doesn't care if you're in there or not.
Well, he got away with a little bit of a hanger right there. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Schebler fouls it back out of play. Schebler, 271 batters, 17 home runs now, and 48 runs batted in, and just 340 at bats. Hard hit ball, but they had it played defensively in a perfect spot, and that's Arcia to throw him out. We look at Milwaukee on defense, presented by Ford. Because of that defense, Arcia getting a lot of playing time at shortstop. They brought in Curtis Granderson since we saw these Brewers last. Came over from Toronto, making his 5th start out in right field. There's Takas, of course. They made the deal to get him from Kansas City. But Yelich has been the man, trying to make it a 30-20 season. 30 or more home runs, 20 or more stolen bases. He's 1 stolen base away from doing just that. Peraza 293, 12 home runs, 54 knocked in. Has 30 doubles, does Jose Peraza. 2 balls, no strikes.
Probably swinging the bat better right now than he has all year.
And boy, he's had a good year.
I know.
Really nice year. Miley starts him off, 3 balls and no strikes. Brewers are 11-5 against the Reds this season, 4-2 here at Miller Park. Peraza taking all the way 3-0, looks at strike 1.
You look at that Fox Tracks box. Those lines that go around that strike zone right in front of the catcher, that's where Wade Miley lives.
Paints the inside corner there. I'm not sure Peraza agrees with strike 2.
Well, you see a changeup previously, and he comes back with that hard cutter. Had to have caught the first front part of the inside corner.
Struck him out after falling behind 3-0. Look at Miley. He follows that ball as it's thrown around the infield, waiting just to get it back to get going again.
The Energizer Bunny. He's ready to go.
Making sure his defense is set, and they do a lot of that here in Milwaukee. Of course, a lot of teams do. Here's Joey Votto, 288 batter, 12 homers, 67 knocked in, strike 1. .423 on base percentage, best in the National League. He has a season-high 8-game hitting streak, 11 for his last 29. That's nearly a .380 average, and more power than we've seen all year long.
Votto hit that grand slam at home, and he has been on a roll ever since. And he had gone 36 ball games without a home run.
And all of a sudden, during this 8-game hit streak, he has 3 homers and he's driven in 10 runs. And the 10 runs is, well, at the time before it started, was roughly 1/5 of his season total.
And the grand slam was a ball that he pulled at Great American Ballpark. The last 2 home runs have been to left center and to left field.
Votto's reached base safely in each of his last 15 games, and during that stretch, he's also swung the bat very well. Nearly a .350 batter. 2 down, nobody on. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Miley to Votto. We'll do it again. StatCast AI powered by AWS. Overwhelming majority center to right, but like you said, those last couple of home runs into left center field. Straight up in the air, this one to left center. Plenty of room out there for Lorenzo Cain in a 1-2-3 opening inning for Wade Miley. Anthony DeSclafani tries to answer that when we return. Collegiate coach at Notre Dame. They go way back, way back. And now Murphy, the bench coach for Fred Counsell. Starting lineup, they have Granderson in right, Yelich in left, Cain in center. Shaw the cleanup batter. Aguilar is at first and Moustakas down at third. Kratz, Arcia, Miley the latter third against Anthony DeSclafani. First pitch fastball, strike 1. Now, Cowboy, what's been going on here? He has not managed to get through 5 innings in any of his last 3 starts.
Amazingly, Tom, when you watch DeSclafani early in the ball game, at least the first 9 batters, the first time through the lineup, he looks like he's going to throw a no-hitter. And when he gets to the second time through the lineup, it's almost as though he's trying to trick the batters or do too much. His stuff's too good to play trick on the mound.
Well, he was something else in the month of July. He went 3-1. The team went 4-1 in his 5 starts. He had a 2.6 ERA and opponents hit in the 230s against him. But in August/September, it's been a very different story. Earned run average so far here in September, over 8. They appealed to first, and Granderson did not go around. We told you Curtis, been around the big leagues for a long time, has had an excellent career. He's been a very good player for a long time. Came over from Toronto the final day of August. That was after the trade deadline, and he looks at strike 3.
Very tough slider in, and then he comes back with this bad boy right on the outside corner. Granderson thinking it's going to fade away. Looked like a changeup until the last second, and it just bites right there.
So a quick strikeout for DeSclafani, and now he'll face Yelich. We gave you the numbers for this young man against the Reds a minute ago so far this year. He has 20 hits and 44 at-bats. That is a .455 batting average, 6 home runs and 13 knocked in. Told you trying to go 30-20. Already he is just the 9th Brewer with at least 100 runs scored and clubbing 30 homers in a year. And the hits keep on coming for Christian Yelich.
An 0-2 pitch from DeSclafani. He just made a mistake with a changeup there. He left the ball on the plate. He needed to get that one down in the dirt, and he just left it right there.
To the plate. 311 batter, 10 home runs, 36 knocked in. We've seen him bat much higher in the batting order most of the time when we've seen the Brewers, and that's been a story through most of his career.
And likes to hit the ball the other way. I mean, that right center field gap, that hole that's between Votto and Jeanette on the right side, he can take advantage of it, even on a pitch that's close to him.
You saw that note at the bottom there where only Joey Votto has reached base more frequently this season than Lorenzo Cain with that .401 on base percentage.
I think you see that big swing that we just saw on a first pitch early in the count. As a pitcher, you're thinking, oh, I got to get the ball away. Well, Lorenzo Cain is thinking the same thing.
Sharp breaking ball away from him there.
This is one of those sliders you could tell the hitter it's coming. Not going to hit it. And that starts in the middle of the plate, middle away. Serious bite.
Yelich with the 19 stolen bases. He's been thrown out 4 times.
Yelich has actually been mentioned in the MVP category as far as National League is concerned. Of course, when you're battling for a batting title and you've got 30 home runs, that would tell that story.
No question. And that strike 3 called to Cain. Granderson didn't like the strike 3 pitch, and Cain doesn't like the strike 3 pitch from John Tumpain.
Right at the top of the strike zone. Definitely got played. But hitters, especially with 2 strikes, that is just not a pitch you want to swing at, and your brain is telling you that's high.
It's the quickest way to start picking up the pace of these games, that borderline pitch strike rather than ball. 2 down in the inning for the Washington Courthouse, Ohio native Travis Shaw. He hooks it into right field, a base hit. Yelich will go on to second and stop there.
That pitch there should tell you exactly how strong Travis Shaw is. A sinking fastball at 95 right on the outside corner, and he hooks it into right field. with something on it.
Jesus Aguilar, big slugger, 32 home runs, sitting on 99 runs batted in. He's right there in the hunt for that RBI crown with Suarez and Javier Baez and Trevor Story. Ball one.
A big masher with big time power, but with the unique ability as a power hitter to still hit with 2 strikes and just flip the ball into right field. There's not many of those guys out there. Hey, if Jeanette had been on the bag, they might have had a little something there. Watch this step by Yelich. He goes towards third first, then has to get back in a hurry. That'll make your heart skip a beat.
Want to know the count on Aguilar with 2 on and 2 out here in the Milwaukee opening inning. It's a good pitch here to the big fella.
That's the pitch for DeStefani that's really come on here later in the season. Didn't really have that same type of quick late biting slider in his first few starts.
1 ball and 1 strike. Yelich and Shaw aboard. And a ground ball to Peraza, the short way to Jeanette, and that's all for the Brewers. A strand 2, getting 2 hits. End of 1. No score. $99. You can watch every game the rest of the way. Your MLB.TV Advantage has a limited time, so jump on board and catch every game you want to see. And there will be some big ones over these final 2 weeks of the year. Every game a big one for the Brewers. Every night. So they begin play 2.5 behind the Cubbies as Suarez hits one on the ground to Arcia, 1 away in the inning. But the Brewers are tied, or I beg your pardon, they lead the wild card. A 3-game lead over both the Dodgers and the Cardinals. So that's a divisional race right there, where they very much think they still have a chance to win this thing.
And what's crazy about the wild card race You've got Arizona, you've got the Dodgers, you've got the Rockies. Whoever doesn't win that division, they might not even be in the wild card, depending on what St. Louis does in combination with those games.
Arizona has to be wondering what in the world they did to deserve this closing schedule. I mean, it is mind-boggling, the teams they are playing down the stretch, not even in their own division. I mean, they're playing those teams too, the Rockies and the Dodgers and all that kind of thing, but they've had to play the Atlanta Braves, the Houston Astros. Tonight they open a series against the Chicago Cubs.
That's right.
Those are 3 first-place teams.
Well, the Diamondbacks have the most difficult schedule out of any of those that I've just mentioned.
I mean, I was reading about that schedule roughly a week ago, and that's when they had the Braves coming into Chase Field in Phoenix, and they had to go on the road and play the Astros over the weekend, and the Cubs are coming out to the desert tonight. Two balls and a strike to Scooter Gennett, the former Milwaukee Brewer. Boy, what a find he has been for the Reds. 22 home runs at .318 batting average. Right at the second baseman Shaw for the second out.
Well, whoever's drawing up the defense for the Milwaukee Brewers here in the first 5 outs has done a pretty good job, because the Reds have hit a few balls right on the nose, and they're right at the defensive positioning player.
And they're all moving around again now. Aguilar coming way off the bag. He's basically almost playing between the first and second base bags. Here you see the big man. And now 3 infielders on the left side for the right-handed batting Phillip Ervin. Gloved his 7th home run of the season yesterday. Boy, he jumped all over that pitch and smokes it into left field. That'll be a 2-out single. First hit, first base runner for the Redlegs.
Looked like that was where Miley wanted to get the pitch, inside and elevated. But more than that, that's where Ervin was looking, and he put the barrel right to it.
Strike one on Kurt Casale. This guy has been a very, very pleasant surprise.
I would agree.
I mean, this guy has played so well when given the chance. On base percentage up over 360. He's had some pop in his bat. Been hitting right around 300 pretty much since he got on board.
And he's done well behind the plate.
Yep. Easy guy to like too. Very pleasant guy. Smart guy, Vanderbilt guy.
Seems to be a good game caller. Pitchers like throwing to him.
Behind in the count with 2 away, and Ervin at first. Scoreless game here in the 2nd inning.
Entire right side of the infield wide open, but Wade Miley throwing slow curveballs in and changeups in, trying to get Casale to roll over the baseball.
And he serves it into left field, dumping it over Arceus head, a base hit. Ervin advances 90 feet. 2-out noise for the Reds. But this is a situation where, you know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, by batting the pitcher in the 8-hole rather than the 9 spot, because he's coming up to bat now.
Well, lightning could always strike twice.
Yes. It struck earlier this year.
Struck earlier this year at Great American Ballpark. DeStefani had a grand slam. If you've got a bat, you could be dangerous. At least that's what Joe Nuxhall used to say.
Yes, he did. Of course, if he had a bat, he was dangerous.
dangerous.
The old left-hander. So in that radio booth, we've gone from the old left-hander to the cowboy. That's a double dose of big league. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a nice play by Miley. He had the second baseman right behind him, but that's a nice play. Red Strand 2, no score.
And Shebler left to right field. And in the infield, it's Suarez, Peraza, Jeanette, and Votto. Kirk Casale behind the plate. Tucker Barnhart getting the day off after he had to get some rest. Had a big day yesterday. Threw for almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Jeff, what are you talking about? You're saying at home? Well, Tucker Barnhart has a doppelganger, a guy that looks just like him. And Tucker tweeted this out, hey, at Buccaneers and Reds, am I crazy or is there a ridiculously close resemblance? Ryan Fitzpatrick, the quarterback of the Buccaneers on the right, Tucker on the left. And man, check that out. And Fitzpatrick has done some great stuff in the first couple of weeks of the season.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, isn't it, guys?
That's really good stuff. And that was quite an outfit he put on after the stunning win, sending the Buccaneers to 2-0 on the year. They've beaten the New Orleans Saints, and then yesterday beat the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And of course, the only reason Fitzpatrick is playing because Jameis Winston is suspended. But he had everybody in the NFL rolling with that get up after the game yesterday. He was looking good. All right, here we go. Last of the second inning. You know, one final note on football. I don't mean to drive a wedge between Jeff Piccoro and Jeff Brantley, but if I'm not mistaken, your respective alma maters are getting together with a lot on the line this weekend.
Yeah, sir. I got a call at 7:30 this morning, Tom, from Hale State. About that.
We promo our team.
That'll be the Kentucky Wildcats.
Be a good old good one, won't it?
Yes, and sir. Mississippi State.
Yes, sir.
Somebody will leave there with a loss.
7:30 Saturday night.
Where is that game?
Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh boy.
Well, I got to figure out a bet.
Rocking and rolling in Big Blue country.
Tom, I got to figure out something. Remember when Ohio played Kentucky? You and I bet the pie in the face.
Yeah, that's
cool.
right. And I'm still trying to clean it off.
We got to figure out something for me and Brantley. Maybe in Wash's car.
Why don't you
washes
guys
my
do the
car.
pie in the face? That was good stuff.
It's been done.
Swing and a miss, strike 3 to Moose Talk. Yeah, but it hadn't been done to the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, You talk about worth the price of admission.
You got that right.
Perfect coif he's got going with the hair and everything to have a little bit
Did
of
you just say quaff?
coif. You're looking good.
Oh, you hurt me.
I mean, I'm trying to remember, somebody once said, and Cowboy, maybe you'll remember who it was, they told me they used to have Old Spice in their hair. Who was that?
That wasn't me.
You sure?
I'm positive.
All right.
I don't think so.
I thought it was.
I'm doing good to remember yesterday.
Aaron Kratz a batter, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a guy who's done some good things for this team this year. Well, it seems like every time we see Kratz, and I know the numbers don't back it up, he's only hitting .249, but it seems like every time he faces the Reds, he is hitting the ball hard. He only has 4 hits and 20 at bats against him, but he has hit some balls right on the screws. Came over from the Yankees back in the final week of May.
Slider time.
Stefani rocks and delivers. There's that slider, and he managed to make contact on it. What's good crowd here tonight, a Monday night? They support this franchise remarkably well. When you look at the market size, roughly the same as Cincinnati. They've had a good team here this year. They're trying to reach a playoffs for what would be a 5th time, only the 5th time in franchise history. Last time was in 2011. Schebler will back up into right center for the 2nd out of the inning. They nearly reached the playoffs last year as a wild card, came up short. They had a really tough time over the weekend, and they've had a woeful time for whatever reason against the Pittsburgh Pirates this year.
And I think that if you talk about the Milwaukee Brewers, and if this is not a club that you follow every day, you're thinking, boy, they have got some bombers on that team because they're 2nd in the National League in home runs. It has not been the hitting that's carried this club. It's been the pitching, and especially in that bullpen.
And Craig Counsell is the modern-day version of Captain Hook. Meaning he will come get those starters right now to get to that bullpen. Counsell himself is a player, a 2-time world champion, and he was an integral part of both of those teams, both with the Marlins in '97 and the Diamondbacks in 2001. I mean, he was right in the middle of it in the final inning of the final Game 7 in both of those World Series. Scored the championship run for the Marlins and reached base against Mariano Rivera in the 9th inning of that rally in Game 7 for the Diamondbacks. Boy, where did that miss? Three and one on Arcia.
You look around that Brewer infield with Moustakas, Shaw, and Aguilar. Arcia looks like a 12-year-old. That's some big fellas.
Two-hopper Peraza and a perfect 2nd inning for DeStefani. Yes, here it was in 2014 when Kentucky beat the Ohio University Bobcats. Cowboy, that's you. Your boys better win. Reds Bark in the Park, presented by Rachel Ray Nutrition. Kroger. And we'll have the pet activities and samples in the Kroger fan zone. The parade, you walk around the field with your dog. You can buy that package now at reds.com/dog. That'll be on Tuesday the 25th. Kansas City Royals will be in town after this final road trip of the year, which concludes on Sunday in Miami. Scoreless game, top of the third. 9-1-2 in the order. Breaking ball in there, a strike to even things on Billy at 1-1.
Interleague play is all fine and good, but I think that the last month of the year you should be playing in your division.
Yeah,
that's just how I feel.
Yep.
I mean, that's when it's all the marbles, all the chips are down. You got to beat the people that are in your division. That's who you should be playing.
But there's always going to be that one team because of 15 in each league, and for this year, that one team is the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's playing not only interleague series, but it's also playing outside of your division multiple series in September.
There are some organizations that have the wherewithal, the Yankees, the Red Sox, Dodgers, they can go out and almost buy their way into a playoff atmosphere almost every year. But for the majority of teams, you cannot do that. And you would like to think that, okay, this is our time, this is our year, and all of a sudden you've got to play a club that's like the Diamondbacks playing the Astros. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Marcia gets to it quickly, gets rid of it quickly, needs to with Hamilton running. Okay, he's a pretty slick defender out there at shortstop. He's got a little hot dog in him, but he also has a lot of passion in him.
It's all right. I can deal with the hot dog as long as you do your job and you do it the way you're supposed to do it. There were times earlier this year when Arcia was not hitting. He was not fielding either. He carried those at-bats onto the field with him. You cannot do that at this level.
I tell you, he's got a lot of personality. They have all kinds of things in between innings, like we have a Great American Ballpark where they allow fans to get to know players a little bit from different things they tape with him. This young man's got a ton of personality.
That's the part about watching Javier Baez every day. You can love him, you can hate him, but regardless of that, as far as a player, if he strikes out with the bases loaded, he's looking to beat you in the field. That's just the kind of player he is, and I admire that. I think it's fun to watch him.
Yep.
And he's on the come.
Rather watch those guys than a robot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They play with a lot of fire. They're not afraid to wear their emotions on their sleeve. Sometimes that could be to a player's detriment, but most of the time with Baez, it's not. Lined over the head of Miley. Lucky thing he was able to duck underneath that one. That's a base hit with one out here for Shepard.
Spin your cap. Well, this is not heads up. This is heads down.
It's the old adage in the dugout, you got to charge that ball.
Yeah.
So Schebler aboard with one out here in the third inning. No score. And Peraza, the batter, he got ahead in the count 3-0 his first time up and wound up striking out. Knocked down by Miley. They'll get one, and that's all they're going to get as Peraza able to leg it out. I'll tell you, Miley is an athlete out there on the mound. And that's a second nice play.
Not only on the mound, but he can handle the bat pretty well. He's been in the American League for quite a while, but he can still handle the bat at the plate. No panic, knew exactly what to do with the baseball, and made the play.
We'll give Joey a chance with Peraza at first base, and 2 outs here in the 3rd. Ball 1. Joey Votto takes on Miller Park today by AARP. And look at these numbers. All are best at Miller Park by a visiting player. Average on base percentage, slugging percentage, 18 home runs. It's good hitters park. Peraza, 23 stolen bases. He's been thrown out 6 times.
And if you watch Miley, whether it's Peraza at first or whether it's Joey Votto at first, he's still got that slide step to the plate, almost in a surprise as he delivers the ball to the hitter. Got his sleeve.
Yeah, got a piece of it. Yep. So he'll trot on down to first. Hit with a breaking ball.
Well, he threw Votto a changeup inside in his first at bat. This one looked like it just got away from him a bit and just nicked the right sleeve of Votto. I think the Brewers are looking at that to see if they can tell if the ball actually hit Votto or not.
I'm surprised they're not going to have him take a look at this. You?
Well, I think when you look at the trajectory of the baseball and where Votto's shoulder was and the reaction from Votto, that's what I look at more than anything else. That reaction and where the ball was coming, it seems almost impossible that it would get by Votto's shoulder without hitting him.
Talked about the Reds and their struggles over the weekend hitting with runners in scoring position. You go back to their last road trip, hitless in their last 40 at-bats with runners in scoring position.
Well, 2-out RBIs are difficult to come by, but if there is an RBI to be had, this is the guy that should be getting it. He's got a boatload of them this year.
2 balls, no strikes on Suarez.
Did not appear that Suarez kept his eye on that ball the entirety of the swing. You could see his head really start to pull off a little bit, almost an overswing.
Three balls and a strike now on Suarez. Good hitters count to a mighty good hitter. Let's see if he can deliver a 2-out knock and get the Reds on the board. Got good speed out there at second base in Peraza. Votto over at first. That's a money pitch right there on 3-1.
Well, it looks like a fastball as the ball comes out of the hand from Miley. He starts it middle in. The hitter's thinking, all right, 3-2, I'm jumping all over that. By the time the ball gets to the plate, it is already cut in and it's got a little bit of downward plane to it. But it starts up, so it looks like a cookie.
Runners get started here on 3 balls, 2 strikes. And that's strike 3, and Suarez knew it. Second strikeout for Miley. The Reds strand 2 after 2.5, no score. Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, now ranked number 2 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. Welcome back to Milwaukee's Miller Park scoreless game. And the pitcher will start things for the Brewers. Miley, then back to the top, Granderson and Yelich.
Don't take him for granted.
Five hits and just 24 plate appearances for Wade Miley.
It looked like a hitter swing. That didn't.
Strike 3. 4 through the first 9 batters of the game for DeSclafani.
Tom, this is what we've seen from DeSclafani here lately. Now we start the second time through the order. And for DeSclafani, he doesn't need to change anything he's doing right now. He's getting ahead in the count, keeping the ball down, working both sides of the plate. His slider is awfully good here tonight.
They struck out Granderson, a called third strike, leading off the Brewers' first inning. It's a solid guy to bring in here for the final month of the year.
Did very well for the Dodgers last year.
Yes, solid pickup. A lot of experience. A lot of postseason experience for Curtis Granderson. Still a good player. He had some years with the Yankees. 41 home runs, 119 batted in, 43 home runs, 106 runs batted in. The last 4 years, he still hit 20, 26, 30, and 26 home runs. So a lot of pop in that bat. He's already hit 2 as a Brewer, and there's ball 4. So the second time through the order. And you just talked about it, Cowboy. He walks Granderson.
When you're pitching well, and DeSclafani has pitched well through the first 9, there's no reason to try to get way away from your game plan. Just keep making pitches. Make the hitters make you change. If they're not hitting what you're pitching, come on with it.
Yelich is single into center field, his first time up. Brewers had 2 hits in the first inning. DeSclafani got Aguilar on a ground ball to end the inning. And this one is hooked off the glove of Votto down the right field line. On his way to third, Granderson, a double by Yelich. A single and a double for Yelich.
Yelich came into this series hitting .455. He's 2 for 2 tonight. If the Reds don't figure out a way to get this kid out, he may be hitting .800 by the time this series is over.
Big at bat here with second and third and 1 out. Lorenzo Cain took strike 3 on a pitch he thought was high in the first inning. Each team is threatened, but this is the first major threat. Second and third with 1 out. Short right. Shoveler coming in to get it, and Granderson coming to the plate. Here comes the throw, and not in time. Schebler was out for a long time with that injured right shoulder. He had issues throwing the ball, and that's normally the kind of play most teams don't take a chance.
Well, the issue with that play, Tom, had less to do with the throw because the throw was on line. It had to do with the approach of the fly ball. Schebler catches the ball, doesn't have momentum going to the plate. You should actually catch the ball running through the ball, giving you momentum to the plate.
All right, so Yelich is out at second base. 1-0 Milwaukee, and here is Travis Shaw.
And just another note on that play. As deep as Votto was on the play on the throw, there's no reason for him to even try to catch the ball. Because if he does catch it and turn and throw to the plate, you can forget about it anyway. If you're going to be that deep, you just let the ball come through.
Shaw had a base hit, a single into right field in the first inning. So the Brewers break through here in the third. It all began with a one-out walk to Granderson. And now Yelich will advance on to third. That'll be a wild pitch.
You know, Tom, it's almost just watching this from an eyesight perspective. It's almost as though you get to the second time through the lineup and DeSclafani's putting too much pressure on himself. We didn't see him make pitches like this early. He's up. He's bouncing the ball in front of the plate. His stuff is too good to have to do that. Execute one pitch at a time.
With a 3-2 fastball, and Shaw drops it foul off to the third base side on a play. (3-2) once more with Yelich at third, and once more a foul ball. Second walk of the inning for DeSclafani will keep the inning alive for Aguilar. Casale will come out, and so too now will Danny Darwin. I mean, the very second, and you talked about it before the game, you talked about it before Granderson stepped to the plate for a second time, beginning the second time through the batting order. Walk, double, an out later, another walk.
And it's not as though DeSclafani has fatigue. That's not the issue. He's still throwing the ball 95, 96. The breaking ball still has great break. It just appears to me, and this is just my opinion, he's trying to do too much the second time through the lineup, and this is the kind of kid that does not have to do that. But I can believe in him all day long. He has to believe in himself.
Aguilar stranded two with a ground ball his first time up, and this one's in the air. Behind the plate. Dropped it. Casale had it and it popped out of his mitt. Votto was right next to him and almost was able to catch it off the rebound.
Find the railing, know where you are. The ball's going to come back anyway when it comes behind home plate. That's a play Casale should make.
No error charge to Casale. You can't give a defender an error. But DeSclafani pitches around that to end the inning. Brewers get a run and lead by a run. Could Matt Harvey be a Red again next year? Reds Hall of Fame catcher Johnny Bench reaps praise upon Tucker Barnhart. And are the new glasses, the goggles, the key to Cody Reed's recent success? All that and more. Reds Weekly presented Miami Valley Gaming. Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, right here on Fox Sports Ohio. We're streaming on Fox Sports Go. And there's a laser into left field in the first pitch here in the fourth. Off the bat of Scooter Gennett, his first hit tonight. Reds down 1-0.
Well, the Reds have their leadoff batter aboard for the first time here tonight. Let's see if they can do something with that.
And they'll get the runner at second base.
Did not appear that that was a bad idea by Urban. But the ball was bunted a bit too hard, and Aguilar able to get to it quickly. The big fella can move around a little better than I think the Reds thought.
And obviously with the shift they had on Urban, he's thinking if he can get that ball closer to where, say, the second baseman would be playing. And then he could crawl to first base. But it didn't happen. Now Casale, he's singled into left field his first time up.
Good ideas are only great ideas if you can execute.
That's exactly right. Breaking ball in there, a strike on a 2-0 pitch. 2-1 on Casale.
And I can assure you, in the back of the mind of Wade Miley, he knows the pitcher is on deck.
Runner goes, and a swing and a foul ball out of play. Now Now, we have not seen a lot of that from the Reds, if indeed that was a hit and run. We have seen very little, if any, of that since Jim Riggleman took over.
Well, that was one of the times that Irvin did not look back in towards home plate. He had his eyes focused on second base. And normally, if you are going to steal the bag, you don't look back in. Your eyes are focused on the bag that you're trying to steal. If it is a hit and run, after your third step, you take a little glance in and then refocus on second base to see where the swing may or may not go.
Let's see if he's running on a 3-2 pitch. One would assume he probably will be. Nope. And there's a base hit into left center field. And Irvin is going to stop at second base. As Yelich gets to that ball quickly. Casale 2 for 2 tonight. Boy, has he done a good job.
That was more of a muscle hit than anything else. That's that cutter we've seen Miley use so much early in this ball game. 3-2, starts in the middle, tries to cut it in. Sally's big, strong boy now.
Oh boy, is he ever.
He may have hit it on the label, but he hit a line drive.
I don't know if there's anybody on this team that I would take pound for pound, pump and iron over Casale. That's a strong dude. I mean, Lorenzen has the look. There's no doubt about that. I think Casale's a little more country strong. You know what I mean?
I do know all about country.
All right, so DeSclafani now he has to put down a punt, and it's fouled away. It's not only the Reds pitchers, it's been pitchers all over baseball, and it's been well documented and written about. The art of bunting, the state of bunting, is at its very poorest in the big leagues these days.
If you are a starting pitcher and you can execute a bunt with even semi-regularity, you're only helping yourself. And you would think that, well, I'd like to win some more games. I'd like to be able to bunt. But you have to practice bunting something harder than 50 miles an hour from a BP pitcher just lobbing it in there.
And that's what we saw the Jim Riggleman had the last homestand. Is they had some giddy up on the fastball, trying to get some of these pitchers to hone their craft and handle the bat a little better. That's a nice job there. So DeSclafani able to put down the sacrifice, sending Irvin to third. Casale to second. As always, coming up later on, we'll have our whole true moment of the game brought to you by Miller Lite. It's a big moment here for the Redlegs with Hamilton coming up and the Reds trailing 1-0 in the fourth inning.
Now, we will not see Moustakas come in on the grass here.
Aguilar is. They're trying to shoot that one by him, and it's fouled out of play. Hamilton a ground out to Arcia's first time up.
And the reason that you don't see Moustakas come way in per usual with Hamilton at the plate is it gives the runner at third base even that much more of freedom to get down the third baseline. if you're playing even with the bag, the base runner has to believe, all right, I can only get as far down the line as the third baseman is away from the bag.
One ball and one strike. Stands him up. 2-1.
Of course, maybe the Brewers don't think Hamilton can bunt the ball right-handed down the third baseline. We've not seen it. And we watch every day.
Weak ground ball again to Arcia, and that will end the inning. Reds strand 2 more. They've left 2 in each of the last 3 innings. Trail 1-0.
Johnny Bench walks the red carpet, and then he homers off of Houston's Mike Madden on Johnny Bench night at Riverfront for his final home run and his 389th of his career. It was also his final start at catcher for him in that great career. And I know, Tom, you got to grow up with him, and we know him so well from fantasy camp and from being around the Reds, and a Reds Hall of Famer, just a super player, the greatest catcher in the history of baseball. 389 home runs, his last coming on Johnny Bench night at Riverfront Stadium. What a night.
And for anybody who followed Bench's career, that was no surprise at all that on that kind of night that he would hit a home run. I mean, he was that special, and I mean special, and there aren't a lot of those guys you can say that about.
Flair for the dramatic.
Oh yeah, and just, you know, I mean, one of the great players in the history of the game. Not only the greatest catcher of all time, one of the greatest players in the history of the game. The guy was unbelievable. Unbelievable. First pitch line out by Moustakas. Reds have left 6 on base in the last 3 innings. Trail 1-0. We are in the bottom of the 4th, and this is Eric Kratz. He flied out to Shebler his first time up. Now we're talking about Casale being country strong. This guy is strong as a bull.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
No. nasty pitch right there. Swung on and missed, and that'll be his second out here in the Brewers' fourth inning, and that's 5 strikeouts for Anthony DeSclafani.
Country strong, but does not like sliders. 2 breaking balls, started in the middle, end up in the dirt. The key to that whole pitch is starting it in the center of the plate and get a commitment from the batter.
Now the shortstop Barcia, he bounced out to Peraza, his only trip to the plate. And it's strike 1.
I don't quite see Arcia with as high of a leg kick as we saw earlier this season. Still brings it up a little bit to set his weight, but not nearly what we saw back in the early part of April and May when he was struggling big time.
Well, it cost him a trip to the minor leagues. So if you want to hang around in the big leagues, that's what, you hear that word, you use it a lot, cowboy. Adjustments, right? You got to figure something out. This guy's got some talent.
Not everybody's cut out to hit 30 home runs as a shortstop. Catch the ball, make the play, make contact when you have to.
Big league play made by a fan over there. Very nice. And I mean to tell you, his son is all over him, man. He is a king of the world. I'm assuming that's his son. That young man sitting in front of him. I don't know. Maybe not. Whoever that kid is excited. Suarez, the pirouette. And the throw pulls Votto off the bag.
Longer steps there from Suarez instead of the quick step to get yourself set. You take those longer steps, your momentum continues towards center field, and then as you throw, you pull the throw right with you, and that's exactly what Suarez did there. Chop steps, quick steps, get the arm up, you have a tendency to regain your balance.
Naturally, that has scored an error on Suarez. And here's Wade Miley, the pitcher. Instead of having him lead off the next inning, he'll bat with 2 outs and a runner at first. Ball 1. Cardinals lead Atlanta. They're in the bottom of the 4th inning in Atlanta, 4-2. Coming up later tonight, some big games out west. Cubs are in Arizona. Colorado going toe-to-toe in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. Top 2 teams in the NL West. Runner goes. Throw down to second base. Out is the call at second base. Looked like he went by the bag.
Slid off the bag.
You be the judge as we go to break.
Tried to reach back with his right hand momentarily as the tag was applied by Peraza. He kept the tag on the runner, and his hand came off the bag only for a split second.
I'm definitely up there hunting first pitch. I'm looking for something to drive, and sometimes the first pitch is the best pitch, so you can't really complain too much about it if it's right down the middle. I don't want to take it.
So our IGS bringing the energy. Scott Schebler batting leadoff with the first pitch, swinging. He hits it almost 50% of the time, and when he puts it in play, a .333 average with 9 home runs. And he said, Tom and Cowboy, that he told Jose Peraza, if I'm leading off, you better be in the on-deck circle because you might be up there in 2 pitches.
You're right about that pick. Now, he's not going to swing at that one. That's a breaking ball, 1.5 feet off the plate.
Well, I think the key for Schebler in his comments there, he's hunting fastballs. If the fastball is up and it's out over the plate, he's hacking.
Pulled to the right side from the outfield grass. Shaw throws out Schebler to start the 5th. It's a 1-0 Milwaukee lead.
And the only batter that swings more than Schebler at the first pitch is someone we were talking about earlier. That's Javier Baez. He's hunting fastballs as well.
And obviously Baez is having a monster year. You know, you really look at all the guys who we talked about Peraza coming in, and you saying Cowboys swinging as well as he has all year long. He's currently an 11-game hitting streak, over a 400 batter. But he's 0 for 2 so far here tonight. Well, you know, you talk about that MVP race. You brought up Yelich. He's in the conversation. Javier Baez is in that conversation. Arenado's in that same debate, and Trevor Story has put himself in there.
Right. But going back to Peraza, and I think it's pretty amazing, and I don't know that anyone would have thought this to begin the season. He has more hits than any shortstop in the National League, Trevor Story included. That tells you something about how much improvement this kid has made, not only in the field but at the plate.
And he's just oozing with confidence walking around, not in an arrogant way, not in a cocky way, but you can tell, unlike this time last year when he was sort of on eggshells.
Well, it takes a while to feel like you belong.
Well, you used the word earlier, and I mean, it's the same in every sport. It's the same in life. I don't care if you're a sales guy. As he's thrown out by Arce on a nice play, it's all about execution. You can have all the hopes and dreams and desire and will and all those things in the world, and you got to have all of those things to be successful in anything. But at the end of the day, you still have to be able to execute whatever it is you're trying to do, and he's done it this year.
But at this level, if you're hoping to get a hit or hoping to make a pitch, ain't happening. I know I'm going to get a hit. I know I'm going to throw that ball on the outside corner. Now, are you going to do it every time? No. But if you don't have the confidence that you're going to do it, well, who else is?
That's right. Your hitting coach can't hit for you.
No. Those numbers on the back of the baseball card have your name on the front.
And those are mighty good numbers for this guy, Joey Votto. 0 for 1 tonight, hit by a pitch on a very slow breaking ball that barely, if at all, grazed him in the 3rd inning. And this will be a 1-2-3 inning. The first since the first against the same trio. Ticket member. Enjoy exclusive perks and benefits by becoming a Reds season ticket member. Visit Reds.com for details. We told you about Craig Counsell being the modern day Captain Hook. And with the kind of bullpen that he features, it's understandable why he would be. Here his starter has not allowed a single run. He's given up 5 hits in the game. Wade Miley. And Dave Miley. And he's taking him out of the game. Domingo Santana, the pinch hitter. We just saw Dave Miley not too long ago coaching baseball over there in Indiana. And there's a drive into left center. Counsell must have known what he was doing. Domingo Santana had a pinch hit home run yesterday. That was the 9th this year hit by the Brewers, which is a franchise record. Here's number 10.
Breaking ball, middle of the plate. Santana, the type of hitter that likes to hit the ball to right center field with a fastball, so that allows him to wait just long enough to center up that breaking ball.
Well, that's how you make your manager look like a really smart guy. I think a lot of people forget about Domingo Santana. It gives you an idea about the acquisitions that were made by this Brewer team in the offseason. As there's a line drive base hit by Granderson. Domingo Santana hit 30 home runs for this team a year ago. 30. And he's not even in a starting lineup anymore. In fact, he has spent a lot of time in the minor leagues this year.
Well, I think when you have a manager like Craig Counsell who expects you to show up every day, I don't care if you hit 50 the year before, show up and show me why you belong in my lineup every day. There should be more managers out there like that.
And this is hammered into right field. 4-0. Bang, bang, bang.
You cannot get your bullpen up fast enough to defense those types of swings.
Here's a chance here at Miller Park. MVP for Christian Yelich. 31 bombs now for Yelich. He has 3 more hits tonight against Reds pitching. We told you coming in he was 20 for 44. Now he's 23 for 47. Just so hard to try and explain, and I've asked you a couple of times already tonight about, what in the world has happened here now in a 4th straight start to Anthony DeSclafani. He has not completed 5 innings in any of his last 3, and we'll see if he's able to get 3 outs here tonight.
I think he would be out of the ball game right now if Wandy Peralta was loose, but he just started throwing. And pitching coach Danny Darwin trying to buy a little time for the left-hander.
Pinch hit homer, single, homer to start the Brewers' 5th. And 1-0 has become 4-0 in the blink of an eye. Soft liner at Votto for the first out. Let's see if he's going to keep him in there. I mean, Peralta should be ready by now if they want to make a change. Doesn't mean they have to make a change. There's nobody on. There's one out in the inning. You know, it's funny how things happen sometimes. You look at the Brewers' last at bat in the fourth. Arcia reaches on an error with 2 outs in the inning. And with the pitcher at the plate, he decides to try and steal second base. He's thrown out for the final out of the inning, right? But Miley was up at the plate. Now, if he doesn't try to steal that base, Miley continues his at bat, right?
And Granderson leads up.
That's right, and Miley's probably still in his game. So Santana never hits a ball in the seats. And who knows what else happened. It's just funny how little things happen for a reason. Josh Hader, their dominant left-hander out of the bullpen, has not pitched. He did not pitch the entire weekend. That one is hooked into right field. And a base hit by Shaw. He has been on base 3 times tonight. 2 singles and a walk. Aguilar has been retired twice on ground balls to the shortstop.
Well, in any sport, you have to figure out a way to fight through adversity. There is always adversity. If you can't fight through it, then you have a problem. And this is not even close to the same Anthony DeSclafani that we saw in the first 2 innings.
It's the 3rd time now through the batting order. We talked about the 2nd time through the batting order where he walked Granderson, 1 away in the 3rd. He wound up coming in to score. And now here the 3rd time through the order, Granderson hit Yelich bomb, gets it out, and a single by Shaw.
I love to watch body language, Tom. It's one of the things that helped me so much when I was pitching. Body language of the hitter at the plate. Your body language on the mound shows up big time. You don't think those hitters at the plate realize that? You start pawing around at the mound, you slow things down, head kind of rolls around a little bit. They sense blood in the water.
And you know, the one guy you see an incredible difference in than we saw ever from the past as it pertains to that particular topic is Cody Reed. Do you agree with that?
I do. I think he's found a pitch that has helped him kind of get through that backdoor slider that he uses a lot more now than he did before. There are pitches that get you here. That's your fallback. When things start to go a little bit south, you've got to get back to the nuts and bolts and stop trying to trick hitters. Go get them.
2-2. Should be 2. And it is to end the inning. But a 3-spot, couple of home runs. Santana off the bench and Yelich with a man aboard.
produced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, starting in 2 weeks, Fox will be the new network home of Thursday Night Football. The schedule on Fox is loaded this year. Huge can't-miss matchup after matchup, including the very first game. That'll be the Vikings and the Rams. Thursday Night Football coming to Fox week 4. Now it's a game. Boy, the Rams look good. Just dominating their opponents out to a 2-0 start. That's all they were talking about around here today was that Green Bay Minnesota game yesterday that wound up in a tie. Here's Josh Hader. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't get healthier, they might bring him in to be the Green Bay quarterback. Well, the arm this guy has. What a year. Opponents batting 122. Did you see that strikeout to walk ratio? We'll put that up there again. Take a look at this. The most strikeouts by far among any reliever in all of baseball. Take a look at this column one more time. 74 innings. 130 punch-outs against 26 walks. It's 25 more strikeouts than the next closest reliever in the National League. Having said that, the last time the Reds saw him, they lit him up. The worst beating he has taken by any team in any game this year.
The Reds have not had too many times this year where they've gone through an extended offensive slump. But if you count this ball game today, they've scored 8 runs now in 6 ball games.
Strikeout 131 for Hader. I mean, this is a guy. He hadn't pitched in 4 days, so he might be out there for 2 or 3 innings tonight. This is a guy, should the Brewers reach the postseason, that could become the National League version of Andrew Miller and what he did for the Cleveland Indians.
Hader has that bit of body turn where he shows you his number. And then it almost looks as though the ball comes out of his hat or maybe the hair. Tough to pick up, especially with that velocity. You can watch Hader the turn. Now he will step almost towards the on deck circle on the first base side. He keeps the ball behind him for a long time. Tough to pick up.
Ball and 2 strikes. A count on Scooter Gennett. Scooter 1 of 2 is grounded to second and singled into left field.
See by the swings of both Gennett and Eugenio Suarez and the walk back to the dugout. Not only frustrated, but you can tell the Reds are not picking the ball up at all.
So now Phillip Ervin with 2 down and none on. Strike 1. I mean, it's not like this guy's throwing, you know, the way Chapman used to throw, 100 plus seemingly on every time he threw a fastball. This guy throws hard, 95 to 98, pitches at 95 to 98. But obviously that bit of deception, being a left-hander, hair flying, body flying every which way. He has to be very difficult, as you said, to pick up.
And the fact that he's got a cross-body delivery.
You kind of had hair like him back when you were pitching. I mean, it wasn't quite that long, but you had it going on now. I mean, you had it pretty long in the back. We got to see if is Siggy on this trip. We got to see if Matt Sigafus can dig up a good one.
Mine was a little tighter.
Yeah, it was. I agree. You didn't have the kind of flowing, you know, the where it comes off. But you had it going on. Got away with one there.
Yeah, that's when your 11-year-old son, as I've told you, looks at your baseball card and says, "Daddy, who's this on your card?"
Well, you were watching video of your main man Mason playing offensive guard.
Playing a little football. He might be bigger than his old man.
Oh boy, that's a venomous breaking ball there. And Hader does what Josh Hader does. All right, there it is. I mean, now wait a minute. It's not that far off. That's a big league picture. Look at that. Party in the front, business in the front, party in the back.
Show brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Tomorrow night we get things started at 7 o'clock, and don't forget Michael Lorenzen on the mound. But we'll talk more about his hitting. It's time now for a cricket smile play. Lorenzen, 3 of his 4 home runs this year come against the Brewers. He's 3 for 5 with 3 home runs and 8 RBI versus the Brewers this season. And when we talked to him today, he was more excited about hoping to get in the game today to hit than he was worried about pitching tomorrow. And he also said he expects to get hopefully 2 or 3 at-bats tomorrow. How about that?
I'm excited to see him start tomorrow. How about you?
Well, if you want to get 2 or 3 at-bats, you better go 6 or 7. And I'm not sure that they're going to allow Lorenzen to go 6 or 7.
DeSclafani goes 5.
Unless he's got a 40 pitch count when he hits 5. He better look for a whole lot of first pitch out.
DeSclafani, 5 innings, allows 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned runs. He walked 2 batters. Both of those came when Milwaukee broke through, scoring for the first time in the 3rd inning. His first walk of the game came around a score. And he struck out 5. Allowed 2 more home runs. And here's Wandy Peralta. And that's muscled into right center field by Moustakas. Schebler over to cut it off. They're going to test his arm again, and I mean, that is a roller into second base.
There is no doubt the scouting report from the Brewers is run on the Reds right fielder. I mean, if Moustakas is taking an extra base on you, that's a problem.
So a leadoff double greets Peralta's entrance into the game. And here's Kratz. And a liner at the first baseman. They worked Kratz over here tonight. I mean, that ball was hit okay. It wasn't smoked. Here's Arcia. 0 for 2, reached on an error by Suarez. His last time up was thrown out trying to steal second base. Ball 1. 4 runs, 8 hits, 4 left on base for the Brew Crew. The Cerveceros of the Brewers. That's what they're wearing on their unis tonight. Espanol. And the Redlegs have been shut out on 5 hits in air, stranded 6, and those 6 came in 3 straight innings. And there's a base hit that will bring in another run. It is 5-0 Milwaukee. Here comes Arcia, and he's out by 30 feet. Whoa! They say he missed it. No, the ball came out. Didn't see it behind him. Neither did Arcia. Scooter went to make the tag, and he did tag him, but it looked like the ball popped out of there.
Well, Hamilton already leads the major leagues with his 12 assists. That would have been his 13 and should have been. The throw right on the money. A perfect throw to second base. And Jeanette just dropped the ball. And they're going to rule that a double. Jeanette has the ball. Reaches down to make the tag. Umpire ruled out and then called safe. How do you not charge an error there?
I've never seen it where it wasn't after the umpire gave an out call. And that's all for Peralta. Well, the Reds have to be just completely mystified as to what has gone on this year with Wandy Peralta. This guy was so dominant for the first 4.5 months of last year. Now, granted, he was probably worked a little too much last year. He had a tough September, but it has not been the same here in 2018. We'll get Cowboys' thoughts on that when we come back. Skyline Chili called to the bullpen. Not back-to-back doubles, 2 doubles in this inning against Wandy Peralta. So he leaves in favor of the right-hander Jesus Reyes.
Now I would like to go back to your question that you were asking earlier about what has happened to Peralta and some of the other guys.
Especially Peralta.
If I'm an outsider looking in, now I get to watch this club every day, so I have a pretty good idea.
Runner takes off for third. He doesn't slide, and for a second time, the ball is dropped. It was Jeanette a minute ago, and now Suarez. After Arcia doesn't even slide into third, somebody stick a fork in that ball.
I mean, that's 2 dead outs for Arcia. Jeanette dropped the ball. Suarez dropped the ball. Now I'm going to go back to the pitching.
Okay.
I'm an outsider looking in. Let's just throw that out there. If I was, the first thing that I would ask, is there one pitcher, one, on this Reds team that's gotten any better from last year or the year before? The answer is a major no. That's a problem. You look at the teams that have playoff aspirations or that are at the top of the win totals, they pitch. Figure it out. If you can't teach it in the minor leagues or you can't teach it in the big leagues, you're spending a whole lot of money for nothing.
6-0 Brewers.
Suarez let his feet get dead. You're either coming towards the ball or you have that drop step. That time he got his feet planted into the ground and he let the ball play him, and it played right through his legs.
They have not posted an error up on the board. I don't know if they're going to give that a hit. It is an error, and that's the second error of the game. Charge to Eugenio Suarez. Those have been rare indeed. The batter will still get an RBI. Most of the time you don't on an error, but you can't assume that out at the plate. Anderson bats for the 4th time. He's 1 for 2. Has walked and scored a pair of runs. And Reyes walks him. So both the runs are charged to Wandy Peralta, and both of them are earned runs. Got one batter out. Allowed 2 doubles. Got bad luck on the tag at second base.
And third for that night.
And third for that night. And now another visit to the mound.
But when you are not in the hunt, and the Reds are not in the hunt, and you're playing a club that is fighting for its playoff life, you better bring your A game or you'll get embarrassed. And this has been close to that so far here tonight.
Well, here's Yelich. Last time we saw him, he hit for the cycle, if I remember correctly. And he's a triple away from hitting for the cycle again tonight. Single, double, 2-run homer. 23 hits, 7 home runs in 47 at-bats, and 15 knocked in for Yelich against the Reds. And bear in mind, the first series they played against one another, he was on the disabled list. So he's not played in all now 17 games. He's played in 14. The last player to hit for the cycle twice in a single season was in 2012, Aaron Hill. Well, he was a good hitter. He could swing the bat. Was he still with Toronto then, or was he with Arizona? I'm trying to think what year in 2012.
I think
it
was
the
Arizona.
Diamondbacks, yeah. This could be that triple. They're going to let him air it out here. He's on his way to second base, and he's going to go to third. Here comes the throw to the plate, and the runner is safe, and he's hit for the cycle for a second time this year against the Cincinnati Reds. Christian Yelich. Unbelievable. Baseball to have hit for the cycle twice in a single season. He is the first player in the history of baseball to have each cycle against the same team in the same year. How about that?
As soon as that ball came off the bat, he could smell it. And for players that tell you, well, I wasn't really thinking about it, that's the biggest bunch of garbage of all time.
No
you
doubt
know
about
exactly what's going on and exactly what's happening in your year.
And man, did you see him kick it into gear when he hit second base. That's long stride. As soon as it left the bat, there he goes. And right here, a different gear.
I got to tell you, that's pretty cool. I know it happened against the Reds, but my goodness.
Keon Broxton is batting. For Lorenzo Cain, and Braxton is gone swinging. First out reported by Reyes. 2 away in the inning. Brewers have scored 7 runs in the last 2 innings. First 4 runs against the starter DeSclafani. 2 earned runs against Peralta, and an earned run here now against Reyes. Or I beg your pardon, 2 runs against Reyes. 1 of the runs unearned. Cubs and the Diamondbacks take the field in Phoenix. And you know both those teams are well aware of what's happening with the Cardinals, beating up on Atlanta 6-2, and what these Brewers are up to, leading 8-0. Votto to Reyes for the out. We've seen him do it once and now twice. Yelich hits to the cycle for a second time against the Cincinnati Reds this year. They'll open their season October the 4th against the Detroit Red Wings. 17 days until the first game of the NHL season right here on Fox Sports Ohio. I mean, a standing ovation after that final out. Yelich coming back into the dugout to get his glove. We'll acknowledge the crowd and chanting MVP. Well, here's another alumnus of Mississippi State University. The new pitcher is right-hander Brandon Woodruff, and he gets Casale on a ground ball to short to begin the 7th inning.
For the most part, for Woodruff, hard sinking fastball. Got a good slider to go with it. He's a starter by trade. He was the Brewers pitcher of the year a couple of years ago in their minor league system. I think they would like for him to be able to start, but he needs that third pitch to be able to put him over the top.
Mason Williams sent up there to pinch hit for Jesus Reyes. Reyes goes 2/3 of an inning, allows a couple of runs, 1 earned. He walked a batter, struck out a batter, and gave up a hit.
It's like Jackson Stevens throwing in the Reds bullpen.
Strikes on Mason Williams. That is Jackson Stevens. We are in the 7th inning. And after this one started pretty tight, it was 1-0 going into the 5th inning. The Brewers have kicked the door down, scoring 7 in their last 2 trips to the plate, and an 8-0 lead.
times than not, Tom, when Woodruff has come into the ball game, he's pitched more than 1 inning, and that may be what Craig Counsell is hoping for here tonight. Try to save a bit of that bullpen.
Well, once they got the big lead, he got Hader right out of there. He only worked him an inning, struck out all 3 batters he faced tonight. So this guy can rush it up there now. Big, strong guy. Counsell, no nonsense player, no nonsense, no frills, no nonsense manager.
Just get it done.
Doesn't have a lot of rules. He was a player. He remembers what it was like. Expects guys to show up here and be ready to go. I mean, he's already had a couple of situations this year where he has benched players for jogging on ground balls that they hit down to first base. Born and raised just north of town here. Very nice suburb, Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. Right along the lake, north of downtown. His father worked for a short time for the Milwaukee Brewers. Played collegiately, as we mentioned earlier, with that man standing next to him. For that man, Pat Murphy. For the Fighting Irish. And despite the fact that he wasn't a very high draft pick, he played for over a dozen years in the big league.
He earned it.
You know, it's interesting that there's a huge age disparity between the two. But there are really a lot of similarities between Riggleman and Counsell. And, you know, we mentioned there's no flash, there's no frills, there's none of this grandstanding kind of thing. You expect your players to come to the ballpark and be ready to go. And if you don't get it done, they will let you know about it.
That's what a manager should do. When you're in rookie ball, when you first sign, that's when they pat you on the back and coddle you a bit. When you get up here, they're paying you big bucks. Do your job. Show up every day, ready to play.
2-2 on Williams. 2 Hopper down to third. And that's all for the Reds. We're off to the bottom of the 7th. All Milwaukee in the series opener. Santana came off the bench, batting for Miley, who was working on a shutout through 5 innings. Second day in a row he's hit a pinch hit home run. That's a Brewers franchise record. 10 of them on the year. Yelich, a home run with a man aboard. His next time up needing a triple for the cycle for the second time this year. And both times against the Reds, and what did he do? He tripled to right center field. Unbelievable. Third player in the history of the game. Think about all the tens of thousands of players in the history of Major League Baseball. One of 3 guys to have 2 in the same year. He is the only one ever to do it twice in the same season against the same team. Jackson Stevens takes over on the mound. Been a very quiet night for the big man. Aguilar 0 for 3. 3 ground balls, 1 a double play. Got a few changes here for the Redlegs. It'll be Williams taking over in center field. Trahan at second base. And Fedorovich behind the plate. Fly ball into right field, 1 out. I always find it so interesting. And look, it's not picking anything. That's not the point of this. But when you're substituting late in a game, the guys that have had all the mileage on them this year are still the guys that are in the game. Now maybe they want to stay in there, and again, this is no shot at Jim Riggleman in any way, shape, or form. But I just find it interesting that you flip out a catcher, you flip out a center fielder.
Trahan is at second base.
Yeah, except for second. But I mean, Peraza,
but Suarez.
Votto spent time on the DL, but when he wasn't on the DL, he plays every inning.
But I think that as a manager, your bench coach comes down. Hey, some of those guys say, no, I want to stay in the game.
Yeah, that's right. There's Takas will say fly ball. That'll be handled by Irvin. And I have no doubt that's what happened here. So quick work by Jackson Stevens. A little more than a handful of pitches to get 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Kratz about it. Just dumps one into right field to hit.
There's your big, strong boy swing right there, because that hit right on his hand.
Look at it. You look over there.
Actually hit it off the end. He hit it as though it hit off of his hands.
And 1 on Arcia. And now 0-2. And that's all for Arcia, and a good work. 1 hit, no runs for Jackson Stevens. Reds will bat in the 8th, trailing by 8. All righty, Brian and Sam, look forward to catching up with you here in the post-game show. Reds Live coming up right after the conclusion of this one, as it does every single night. 11 in a row set down by Milwaukee pitching. The final 5 batters by the starter Wade Miley. Pater with a perfect 6 with 3 strikeouts, and now Woodruff coming back out there for a second inning after a perfect 7. So that ends that string of 11 in a row retired by Brewers pitching. Leadoff walk here in the 8th with an 8-0 lead by Woodruff. And that's one number that does stand out with this young man, is that he has a high walk total for the number of innings he's pitched. Has a high strikeout total. All right, one more shot or so would appear at Peraza to extend this hitting streak to 12 games.
Looks like Matt Whistler warming in the Reds bullpen.
And that it is. Breaking ball in there to get ahead 1-2.
Smart move there by Eric Kratz. The fastball was getting a little bit off the plate. He goes to the breaking ball, right back in the count.
Playable ball and a strong throw from the third baseman Moustakas to get the speedy Peraza, whose hitting streak appears here in the 8th inning to have come to an end tonight. Join the Reds for Fan Appreciation Day presented by Ace Hardware. We'll have great prizes from Frisch's, Montgomery Inn, La Rosa's, Dunkin' Donuts, so many more given away throughout the game to lucky fans. Redlegs and the Pirates. You can be there as low as $12. Visit Reds.com for tickets, postcard entries accepted. 32,145 here tonight at Miller Park on a Monday night. School back in session. This is one of the states that still starts school after Labor Day weekend. So this is only the, second full week those kids have been back into school. Third week. Joey Votto has fly to center, been hit by a pitch and bounced out to first.
Whether the Reds win this ball game or not, it would sure do a lot for the Reds' confidence if they could put some runs on the board here late, because they have had a tough time scoring runs here lately.
Shutout Saturday. 1-2-1 on 2 solo home runs First pitch of the game by Schebler, and later a home run by Urban. Well, 1 strike to Joey Votto.
Well, the Reds won that second ball game against the Dodgers 3-1 against Hyunjin Ryu. But since then, they scored 3 runs in that ball game. They've either scored 1 or 2 or nothing. And that is very unlike this Reds offense, which has been so good this year.
I don't know what in the world Votto is doing up there. He was staring up at something or somebody behind the plate, and the umpire and the catcher are both sitting there staring at him. It's rather odd, but 1 ball, 2 strikes. Votto back in there.
See a little bit of that front shoulder flying towards first base with Woodruff on the mound. Very difficult to control the baseball with your normal finger pressure.
He just struck out Votto.
Very good changeup. Like Votto got a little piece of it, but into the mitt of Eric Kratz.
The Eugenio Suarez is 0 for 3, is struck out swinging twice. And the 1-0 offering. 2-0. Reds have been shut out on 5 hits. The last hit they had was a single by Casale into left center field back in the 4th inning. They've only had 1 base runner since. That was the walk to Schebler to begin this inning, and he's now at second base. Moustakas charges, and the Reds are gone in the 8th. 8-0 Brewers in front. You by Geico, 15 minutes to save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Very popular places they have up here. Custard, frozen custard. They're all over this town. Perfect for a summer night.
I like ice cream.
Oh, I know you do. What about custard? Frozen custard.
I like ice cream.
All right. All right. Well, it's a little bit of difference, right? Or so I'm told. You like ice cream.
Cookies and cream mint. Book it.
A lot of changes out here for the Reds. We begin on the mound. First pitch swinging is Scope against Matt Whistler. Brand new infield for the Reds. We'll just walk you through it. Tucker Barnhart takes over at first. Dielson Herrera comes into the game to play second. Traha moves over to short. And Brandon Dixon takes over at third base. One pitch, one out for Whistler. Here's Granderson. He's had a big night. Walked twice, singled, scored 3 times. What have been your impressions of Whistler? I know we saw him with Atlanta, but what about since coming to the Reds?
Very short with the arm arc in the back. Gets on top of the ball quickly. I would like to see more command, more strikes thrown. He's got a great downward angle to the plate, and his breaking ball is awfully good.
Herrera to Tucker, 2 down.
I just think in order to pitch up here and be successful, you've got to be able to throw strike 1. And if you can't throw strike 1, you definitely have to throw strike 2. And you have to have command of 2 pitches. I don't care how hard you throw it. I just want it on the edges, and I want you to be able to throw a breaking ball for a strike.
Hernan Perez is the batter. How in the world do you bat for a guy who's hit for the cycle? I mean, are you kidding me? Yelich might be wondering that same thing.
Well, it's probably a situation for Craig Counsell where you're coming down the stretch. You've got to figure out some points in time to give your number 1s days off, or at least maybe an inning or 2 off. And I think that's one of the reasons he got Shaw out of the ball game. He got Kane out of the ball game. Probably would have gotten out Yelich earlier had he not been going for the cycle.
Probably right. And I'm saying that tongue
I know
in cheek
you
about Yelich. Popped up, and this will be a perfect inning for Whistler. Well done. Reds will come to bat in the 9th. They're trailing 8-0. and the Pirates. Stick around after the game. Fireworks presented by Adams Recovery. Visit Reds.com.
Blake Trahan.
Getting his first at bat of the game. Hernan Perez remains in a game to play left field. And despite the fact that he came into the game in the 7th inning with an 8-0 lead, if Woodruff is able to get through this 9th inning, it would be a save. It doesn't matter what the score is. If you get the final 9 out, pitch 3 innings. You will pick up a save. And if you're wondering, Woodruff has never had a major league save. Base hit to left field.
Left that breaking ball up. Pitch before dove out of the strike zone. That one he wrapped a little bit, stayed up in the middle of the plate.
Want to know the count on Phillip Ervin. And now ball to strike. Well, the Brewers don't have anybody up in their bullpen, so they're going to give Woodruff the chance to get this save here tonight. Unless all of a sudden things start getting a little bumpy for him after a leadoff single. Jam shot. Wow. And the Brewers turn it over. Reds are down to their final out. Well, that pitch just stayed him up. Tim Fedorovich will bat for the first time since coming on defensively. Only 2 plate appearances for him so far. And Woodruff and out away from his first big league save here tonight. Brewers' relief pitching has been extraordinary all season long and nearly perfect here tonight, going back to Hader in the 6th. He had a 1-2-3 inning. Woodruff has only allowed 2 base runners, a walk and a hit. And a big night for Yelich, hitting for the cycle for the 2nd time against the Reds this year. And it is ripped into left field by Fedorovich. And he's on his way to second base. So welcome Tim Fedorovich officially to the Redlegs. That's his first hit as a Red.
Almost the same breaking ball that was hit earlier in the inning by Trahan. Except this one was 0-2. He tried to make that the best breaking ball he's ever thrown, and he got around it a bit.
Mason Williams bats for the second time. He flied out to the left fielder his first time up. And those that have stuck around, they had a 6:40 start time. Of course, the Reds have gone to that start time. Arizona really the trendsetter for that start time. And it's a good start time, especially for those that have to get up and go to work in the morning, or kids that have to get up and go to school. I mean, you look at the difference between starting a half an hour later, you'd be looking at 9:45 instead of 9:15. May not sound like much, but it's a big deal. You got to get up in the morning. Base hit left field, and the Reds will hold Fedorovich at third base.
Reds got to that ball quickly. He was up ready to fire to the plate. And with a catcher running, probably the best decision by Billy Hatcher there.
So officially, that's when you know you're having a tough time. When you get your first hit with runners in scoring position on the road since the 2nd of this month in St. Louis, and you don't score a run when you get it. That's when you're just going through a rough patch. Here's Brandon Dixon trying to get the Reds on the board here in the 9th. Runner takes off for second, no throw down there. That's indifference. It will not be a stolen base. Pitches for Woodruff. Cowboy brought up earlier that he's been used as a starting pitcher for his minor league career. They're not going to let it stay out there if he gives up another base runner or two. They have action for the first time, lightly throwing in the bullpen. The ball appeared to come out of the bat rather appeared to come out of the left hand of Brandon Dixon after that swing. On Brandon Dixon. And that's the old ball game. First major league save for Woodruff. Miley Hader Woodruff combining on the shutout. Yelich hits for the cycle for not only the second time this year, third player ever to do it, but the first player in the history of the game to do it against the same team twice in a single season. Congratulations to him. 8-0 our final. We're back in a moment.